Good afternoon, beautiful Facebook land. I am Laura Sexauer, and shortly I will have Cassidy on here, and we're going to be talking about the law of attraction and how the law of attraction has impacted our lives since we discovered, you know, its magic and awesomeness. So let's see here. Yes. Oh my gosh. Cassidy, I know you're on here and I'm inviting you in right now. But I totally just dropped my camera and that is so funny. Okay. Okay. So let me readjust here. It's adding you on. But you know what? That's just the law of attraction.
Oh, oh,
Hi.
hi. I'm outside. I hope this is okay. Okay, we're good.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So this is my first time doing the split screen Facebook Live dealio.
Me too. I'm not even sure how to do this, but it's awesome. Okay, hold on. Let me get in like a shady spot. Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Awesome. So I guess let's just each kind of introduce ourselves because your friends don't really know me and my friends don't really know you. So you go first.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm Cassidy Schneider. I'm a life coach. I've worked into a lot of self-help, personal development, spiritual awareness, law of attraction, all of the good stuff. Um, and yeah, my soul journey, I think, is to just wake people up to the truth of who they are and lift vibrations and come into inner alignment and higher consciousness.
Aw, that's beautiful. Hey. Yeah. Woo. And then my name is Laura Sexauer. I am recently certified as a 200-hour yoga instructor, so that's a really big deal for me. And I also have started an online community and a small business at this point called Spiritual Artistry in Motion because I grappled for this past year, like, what am I? What is my profession? What am I here to do? I love acting. I love music. I love oracle card readings. I love yoga, but what does that mean for me? And so then I realized that all of those things were different artistic forms and expressions that I want to offer to people to facilitate a space for healing. And so then I realized that what I really am as a profession is a spiritual artist,
Oh,
providing these different arts so that I can facilitate a space. So I don't have to, corner myself into any one category. It's a much more open expression for me.
well, talk about law of attraction already. I think I just attracted like you into my life because I relate to that in the aspect of I'm a musician, into so many different things, right? And I'm pulled in so many different directions. And, that's amazing because now I can consider myself a spiritual artist. And I think that we're all spiritual artists because when we're
Yeah.
tapped into source, we're creating, whether it's a lawyer or anyone, you're creating and you're channeling that work through you.
Yeah, that's what I love, especially about that book, The Artist's Way.
I'm reading
Uh,
that
my
right now.
God! Woo! Yeah, I did maybe the first half of it a couple years ago, and without an accountability partner, I'm kind of lost, eventually.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but I love that that book talks about, lawyers and all these people in professions that are more traditionally considered to be like logical, analytical professions. And then she's like, no, there is art and artistic expression and creativity in all of these professions. And if you really want to blossom in your chosen career, you will find that, that flower of expression in your heart, no matter what your job is.
That's so true. That is so true. And we can create in any aspect. And most, like, I've been with so many different job areas. I've done mortgages, sales, to rehabilitation, to life coaching, to yoga, to all of it. And all of it, like, in order for me to do my best work, I have to have some type of creative expression, some type of inner alignment, some type of high vibration in order to achieve the goal. That's the goal that the whole team's trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you first hear about the law of attraction? What was that experience like for you?
Okay, so it was probably about 4 years ago. I started working, and you know what? There's so much that, like, just that I already implemented that I didn't realize was law of attraction. But about 4 years ago, I started working in mortgages, and I didn't work there long in that industry long. I don't think it's my industry, but I was there for a reason, and I think I learned a lot. But it was so funny because the one of my friends gave me a book and said that read this book. I read it when I was starting, and it was called Think and Grow Rich, which,
Oh, yes. Oh,
yes. So it didn't really talk like specifically, it wasn't like this is the law of attraction, but it did talk about like what you think and is like what you get, you know? And so then I went on this quest of like finding expanding spiritually, meditation, everything like that. And I found that the more that I was open to receive and the more that I expanded my consciousness, like the more that I raised that vibration, like things would come to me. But I didn't ever have that like, oh, actually I would like I'm such a goals person. And so like even before like I was really like implementing the law of attraction, I would have these goals and I would fixate on them and fixate on them. And then I'd look back like a few months later and be like, oh, how did I get this thing? Or like, oh, wow, like I have all these things that I was wanting, you know?
yeah.
So I actually have a dear friend and coach and mentor of mine. Her name's Frankie Dahl. I blast her all over my social media, but she actually teaches the law of attraction. And I was implementing so much of it, and then and then I got immersed into this community what the teachings was just straight law of attraction, like the visualizing, the manifesting, the opening yourself up spiritually so you can raise your vibration and attract those things to you. And
Yeah.
so the last year I've just dove into all of it.
That's
What
so
about you though?
Oh man, well, I have to respond to something you said because it's so amazing. You said you didn't even know really about the law of attraction, and these things started happening in your life, and things started appearing, and that is so amazing because I do believe that even if we don't know about the law of attraction or we're not trying to do something, it's always working. You know, like it's the concept of like it being a feeling universe, and whatever like
Mm-hmm.
emotion we have, like the universe doesn't speak in words. Like we can't say I want a new car. It's like that vibration, that feeling. And so as we're going through our lives, even if we don't really know about the law of attraction, there's always that vibration going out and meeting. I love that image of like a singer. If she hits her high note and it vibrates at the same frequency as a little glass bauble on a chandelier, once those two frequencies match, that's when the glass will break, as the singer sings her high note.
Well, and it's just like, okay, so it's like like, in order to creatively express, and I'm a singer, so I will know, like, when I've dropped into my vibration, because it's like, as you're starting, it's like you're warming up, maybe a little uncomfortable, but I literally feel it when I drop into it, and whatever's coming out, like, I'm just in vibration with that, and like people are connecting to that. And it happens doing like videos like this too, or like doing Instagram posts and everything like that. It's like it's almost like I've let go of all control and of everything, and like you've just dropped into the alignment and the vibration.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And also, it's funny too, when I'm tuning my violin, as I'm playing two notes together and I get it into a perfect tune, there's almost like this harmonic sound that rises above. Like, and I know that's when the strings are perfectly in tune because there's that kind of that extra vibration to it. So even like with sound, like you said, as a singer, like this being a vibrational universe, it's like it's so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy.
And
uh
yeah, so I first heard of the law of attraction. I was working at a Barnes and Noble years and years ago, and I was standing up at the cash rep, and this young kid walked up. He had to have been maybe 18 to 20, and he was dressed. You don't usually see young kids like that dressed like in a business suit or whatnot, but he was really trying. He had his hair fixed all nice, and he had his shirt tucked in and ironed, and he's like, "Have you heard about The Secret?" And I said, what's the secret?
Oh.
And he's like, well, you should just look it up. I'm like, well, tell me what it is. Let me in on the secret. And he kind of told me a little bit about the law of attraction, and it kind of piqued my interest. And I have no idea who that kid was, but I know that I attracted meeting him into my life because
Mm-hmm.
something that I needed was to have more of an understanding of how to be a creator or a co-creator in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I know that meeting him that one time, like that's probably the only time in this lifetime that I will meet that young man. But that was a moment that was supposed to happen.
Oh,
And
that's
so
beautiful.
that
That
was
gives me the
really powerful.
chills.
Yeah. And then so I worked at that Barnes and Noble for a while, and I really started getting into it. I was reading the book. I saw the movie several times, and then people started coming in and asking about The Secret, but they would come to me for some reason. They wouldn't even know. There was this one woman, she came up to me once and she was literally crying. She was so sad. There was so much sorrow in her and she was crying. And I asked if I could help her. And she said, no, no, I'm sure you can't. I'm sure you don't know about this book. And I said, well, here, describe it and maybe I can help you. And she said, well, it's this book about how we can change our lives because of the things that we think. And I said, is it called The Secret? And she said, yeah. I said, oh my goodness, I love that book. It's changed my life so much. I've gained so many wonderful experiences in my life because of it. Come over here, I'll show you. And I handed her the book and I said, come back to me in a month and let me know how things have changed for you. And just to see, like, already she had this like light and this hope in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was as though something had switched in her. And that was so
Yeah.
powerful for me because she could have walked up to any of the booksellers that were there, but she walked up to me because I was calling her as much as she was calling me, you
Yeah.
know?
Well,
And
I mean, that
ugh,
makes so much sense. Like
yeah,
law of attraction says like, because it's like, we talk about like, I've been listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks, and it's talking a lot about like shifting your inner alignment. But, and the law of attraction says like the universe is ready to deliver what you're ready for, or what you are calling for. So even if you aren't in that space where you're like open, but your like soul is calling for it, you're going to meet whoever needs to be on your journey right then and there. Like this morning, here's a prime example. I am, it's been an interesting, I think I just burnt myself out is what happened. And so the last 2 days I've been just not feeling in alignment, not really connected. And so I'm in the morning, I put on a video and I'm like getting a little bit from it. I'm like, okay, this is a start, but my spirit's just calling for that, right? And then
yeah,
one of my friends calls me out of nowhere and we have this high vibe conversation for like 30 minutes. And after that, I don't even remember like what feeling I was feeling the prior days before.
yeah. Wow. Oh, I love that.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's amazing once you step back into like the flow and an alignment,
Mm-hmm.
the synchronicities start happening. And and I hear people when a synchronicity happens and they're not used to that, they say things like, "Oh, that's so weird. That's really weird that that happened." And I'm like, "That's
Mm-hmm.
not weird. That's just life. That's the universe winking at
Yeah,
me."
like that's divine. I used to be one of those people that said, that's so weird. Or like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But then someone taught me to say, this is divine and this is beautiful because it is. And that's like in the world in its light and glory is meant to be beautiful. And, it's the way the world is right now. It's not supposed to be like that. And
Yeah.
that's why so many people are being pulled to things like law of attraction and things like spiritual development, because it's not supposed to be this way. There's
Yeah,
not supposed to be so many asleep people.
right. And I feel like we are at this time in our society where a lot of people are waking up to that new perception of things and that
Mm-hmm.
energetic. And they talk a lot about like the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and how really as we're in our society waking up to this like spiritual revolution, it's like that divine feminine is coming in and there's more flow and receiving, and I don't know, it's just so much awesome.
I know, it's so beautiful, and it's so funny because once you it's like the law of attraction. Like once you open yourself up to it, you are just going to connect like this. Even like you are just going to be at the right place at the right time with the right people, and there's so many friends over the last year that I am just baffled. Like, how did I meet you? Because it was such a interaction where it was just right place, right time. Like there was no seeking, you know?
Yeah.
And so I try to remember that too within the law of attraction, is that whatever I want, you know, whatever I like my soul wants, like that's for the highest good of all, whatever it is, like I have a right to that, and the universe wants to give that to me, and it's my responsibility to clear out, because I could be at a low vibration and, you know, want $300,000. You know, I could be there, but there's going to be, if I'm at a low vibration, I'm not going to get it, because there's going to be so many blocks so where I don't see these opportunities that are going to get me that. If I'm at a high vibration and I'm like, I want $300,000 and I want it to, so I can create and help people and help them create and manifest and help create things that are going to heal. And I'm in that high vibration thinking and in that alignment with spirit, I'm not going to be in the masculine, which is pushing so much out. I'm going to be in the balance of both. So like divine feminine, like waiting for the flow, and then also like pushing out when the creation's ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And wow. You know, that's so interesting too, how um, what we say we want and the motion behind that push up against each other sometimes, because I think we run into that a lot with weight loss and getting into shape, and we think, well,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I want, you know, this super fit muscly body so that I can feel this way.
Mm.
But what we don't realize is that until we feel that way first, the shift won't happen. Because,
Yeah.
and a lot of times too, people will get in shape and lose weight and get to that ideal body weight. And then it's like, well, I thought I would feel a certain way. But with the law of attraction, if you want to maintain a certain kind of level of health and fitness, you have to find that vibration in the first place. You know, that
Mm-hmm.
self-love, that self-nurturing, that feeling of deserving and worthiness first, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yes. Oh, that. So I've always a little bit of background, recovering substance abuser, and then recovering eating disorder. Um, and I, you know, I haven't had any like desires or anything, but there's always been that like with like weight loss, where it's like, you know, like I want to lose this weight and have this body be like what you said, so I can feel that feeling. And that's just like love with conditions, you know, like I'm not going to be okay, or I'm not going to have the man of my dreams, or I'm not going to have this person unless I'm in that. And it's so funny because once you do shift that thinking, and part of my rituals for a long time was like looking, and I make all of my friends do it, or people, clients that I'm working with, it's like looking in the mirror, like doing the mirror work and like getting comfortable, like hugging your body as if it was your dream body, and like thinking of your body as like this like beautiful creation, no matter what size it is. And it's so funny because it's like you naturally just get to this vibration where it's like, oh, like instead, and I'm noticing it in one of my friends particularly, she's like, I'm just getting full faster, or I'm not craving food. It's more like nourishment.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and that like definitely shows the frequency is like when we are at that right frequency and ready to receive, it's like we no longer need to be that consumer, you know, like I'm going to use this to fill me. I'm going to use this to fill me, because we're already filled, and
Yeah.
we're ready. We're open. We're ready. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. So, if you had to give a tip to people who are watching who may not even have a lot of experience with the law of attraction, what would you say is a good tip to get someone started?
Whew, I would say I would pick up right away, to get someone started. I would reach out to people who may be into that. And if they don't know who may be into that, oh, there's so many online Instagram communities. Like that just came straight to my head. Is like start following some people who are, you can even look up like law of attraction, or like there's spiritual stuff on there too. Or start looking up the hashtags of law of attraction and following those people, because that's going to already sit in with you. And then I think something simple like watching, there's the Secret documentary on Netflix,
Yep.
and getting into some book work. And it's so weird because that's literally what started happening is I started going more into like spiritual book work and and then all of a sudden I found a group of people who practice law of attraction and teachers who practice law of attraction. And then I landed in a coaching program that, it's not called law of attraction, but it's the same principles as law of attraction.
Yeah.
So once you're ready, you're going to get little like trinkets and like on your path, just like how you did, like that one guy who did. And then pretty soon your world's just going to expand.
Yeah. And I think another thing that is really helpful to people who are just starting out is to get like a morning and an evening practice of gratitude started.
Yes.
Because, we say, I want, but really when we're saying I want, it means that we don't already have. And so in order to create more of what we quote unquote want or we think we need is to fill ourselves with more of that vibration. So if you feel like you're not living in a place that you love, or you want a better place, write a gratitude list about like all the things you're grateful for about the place you already live. And then once you start feeling that creates more of it. So I found that that's a really like good starter practice.
That's so beautiful. And that's so funny because my coach is like, start writing me a gratitude list. And then I was also listening to Abraham Hicks too. And it's like so for me, it's like, I will get into a place where it's like, I know I want this path. And like, there's that knowing, but then there's a little bit of resistance or, a little bit of that discomfort and I have to go back and check, like, am I being like grateful and accepting for what I'm in right now?
Yeah.
Because if I'm not in that gratitude, exactly like you said, like I'm not in that place to be open and to receive, and I'm not showing up as my best self. And so then also like, it's just like your tunnel, like higher consciousness is just like, it's like a tunnel. I picture it like a tunnel vision. So it's like when I'm tapped into my higher self, my higher consciousness, to that frequency where I can attract and do that deep manifesting and things are coming to me, the whole world is an opportunity, right? And when there's that like fear, lack, limitation thinking, which sometimes it's like that feeling of just, then it kind of like gets smaller and smaller and it's contracted instead of expanded.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like so important to keep that like expanded mindset, and gratitude. That's something I have to work on daily, because the more that I like manifest, I get really excited and I'm like, okay, I want this now. Which I can have the feelings now. That's readily available. And once I have those feelings now, I'm going to be ready and prepared for when the thing that I do want comes into my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a coach too once say that you could tell the difference between entering something from a love space or a fear space is in when you feel yourself expanding and reaching out towards something, that's from love. If you feel yourself contracting and pulling away, that's from fear. And that seems so common sense, but if you really go through your day and be like, is this feel like something I'm like reaching out toward or something that I'm pulling away from? And I also love that you said about acceptance, because right before we did our video, I do oracle cards, and I shuffled through and I said, I'm going to pull the card that's for my highest good. And I pulled the card that said peace. And the description in the book for this card was radical acceptance, and that when we find acceptance is when we find peace. And I think that fits in with law of attraction so well, because, until you can find acceptance and gratitude for where you are, you don't have the strength behind you to manifest more of what you desire, because you have to find that peace and that acceptance first.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. And it's so accurate. And it's exactly what I needed to hear right in this moment. Oh, that's beautiful.
Well, I'm like super thankful that you hopped on here to talk about law of attraction. I love this subject, and like I've made videos on YouTube and stuff, but I really wanted to like have this connection with you, because all of the things that you do on social media and the talking and the encouragement of like your fellows is just so amazing. And I really wanted to share that with like my community too. So.
Oh, I love that. And I'm so glad that you asked me because I want to share your gifts. And I think that you're such a light. And I think that, it's, you know, the law of attraction brought you into my life. So I think it's beautiful that we get to connect on the same thing and give back to both of our individual communities and give it back as a whole as well. So, thank you so much for having me and have a beautiful rest of your day.
All right, bye.
Bye.